Gukesh returned back home after winning the World Chess Championship. It sparked absolute celebrations, as was evidenced by how he was greeted upon arrival. And it was indeed a golden day for Indian chess as a whole. And to discuss all things chess and all things Gukesh, we've got Vidit Gujrathi, an Indian chess grandmaster who happens to know more than a thing or two about Gukesh, considering they have, in fact, spent time together and come through the ranks pretty much at similar times. So, Vidit, thank you so much for joining us on this interview with Republic Sportfit.
My pleasure.
So first off, I just had to ask, what was your initial reaction when that moment finally happened, when Gukesh scripted history and became only the second Indian to actually win the World Chess Championship?
So I was on the live stream of the commentary, and at some point, I saw the match, and it looked like it was going to be draw. Anand sir was also there on the stream, and we all thought it was draw. So after a while, I stopped watching, and I was like, okay, tomorrow there will be playoffs, and I was making plans accordingly. And suddenly, I got to know that he won. I was like, wait, how's this possible? And then I went and checked, and then it sunk in slowly. And of course, I'm very, very happy for Gukesh. At the age of 18 to win world championship, the youngest ever world champion, is no small achievement, and he deserves all the credit for doing so, and his team as well.
Absolutely. And obviously, I think one thing that really went viral when you're talking about him winning was that moment when he was in tears, when he knew that he was about to win and then was actually just making the final moves on the board before, of course, crowning himself as the World Chess Champion. What was your reaction when you saw that? Obviously, now I know that, you saw that it wasn't live, but I think that was something that really went viral and something that won a lot of hearts on social media.
Yeah, I saw that immediately because it was there in my feed. And it's one emotion which every sports player who is very serious about what he does has imagined some point in his life, that you're putting so much effort and work into something, and at the end you will win something which is so priceless, and you will have these emotions. I never had it. I had only joy and elation, but I could never break down while I've won. So I don't know how it actually feels, but it was so genuine and raw that every sport player could relate to it at some level.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning, that Gukesh has actually won a crowning achievement, a crowning glory that, a lot of chess players spend their whole life trying to get. He's done it at the age of 18. Given, obviously, that he himself has admitted that he's still, got some room for improvement. What do you think is really the ceiling? Is sky the limit for young Gukesh?
Having some space to improve is, I think, a very big understatement. He's just 18 and he has achieved a lot, and that just shows that he has so much time left, and we can't even know, we can't predict how far it will go. But definitely, the most safest thing to say is the future is bright. But I think I think it'll he has the potential to even create a legacy like how Anand has. So let's see. We'll have to wait to see.
That would be something big indeed, which is in fact what I was bringing you towards next. That, I think Viswanathan Anand has had a huge role to play, not just his, but a lot of y'all's careers. And it's led to a sort of golden generation of sorts forming. Do you think that this is setting up not just Gukesh, but even India for domination in the sport of chess?
For sure. I think many people need a role model, and especially kids, when they see somebody. Like, I remember when I was starting out, I used to get a chess magazine at home, and I used to see these players playing for India, and they're having these training camps, and I was like, oh, I also want to do this. And nowadays, instead of magazine, it's going to be Instagram and YouTube feed, that they're going to see these things, and they'll feel like, I also want to take this up. So definitely it's going to bring a change, and it's great news for chess. And in India, India is already a dominant uh, country in chess. I mean, we won the gold in Olympiad as well. So only good things are in store.
And, talking about that Olympiad gold, obviously you and Gukesh were teammates at that particular time. You've obviously, come through the ranks with him. You'd have seen what it is that he's like. What, according to you, separates him from the rest, makes him a little bit different? Because, again, an 18-year-old being world chess champion, it's never really happened.
I know him from a very long time. First time I saw him up close was when I had invited him to Nasik and Prague and other kids as well. When I was training for World Cup, and we had some training games. And I think he was maybe 12 or 13, like really, really young. I don't even remember how old he was. And he had this hunger to learn, and he was very sincere it was clear that all the kids were very sincere. So now when I see Gukesh, one thing that sets him really apart is his mental strength. He has immense mental strength, which compared to his peers, he's way ahead. Let's say coming back after a loss, or being resilient, or just having that aggression and that champion-like quality of fighting and coming back and perseverance. I can see that in him, and that sets him apart, in my opinion.
Speaking about, you were mentioning early on, and it's something I wanted to come back to. You're seeing young kids on Instagram are seeing these things and are saying, you know what, I want to do the same thing. I think it's fair to say that chess is one sport that has really taken advantage of social media, because you were talking about the live streams. Obviously, you have multiple channels that live stream these matches. Is it fair to say that chess is one sport that has actually managed to capture the audience, the digital audience more specifically, in a way that few other sports have managed in recent memory?
For sure. When there was pandemic, people couldn't go outside and everybody was stuck to their screens. That was the source of entertainment. Chess is the only sport which did not stop at that time, because it could be played even online. And it doesn't have a huge requirement, physical requirement to do so. So a lot of people got into the game. They had learned it at some point in their childhood, but then they saw the live streams. They were like funny banter, some tournaments. So everybody got what they were seeking for, some kind of entertainment or some kind of professionalism. And chess really took, um, I would say, it got more popular during that time, and it has kept the momentum, because only that is not enough. You need somebody to, look forward to, and when they're rooting for India and India's winning, that makes them more involved. Or if you're rooting for a player and he's doing well, that makes you like, more, what to say, that develops your bond with the sport and the player more.
Absolutely. And, a couple more questions, Vidit, before I let you go. One, of course, we got to know recently that Gukesh will, in fact, be facing off against Magnus Carlsen. It's confirmed that he'll be taking him on in the Norway Chess Tournament 2025. How do you think Gukesh is faring there? Do you dare say that he's potentially a favorite, or is Magnus just too good?
I think two are not really enough to determine the better player. And I feel uh, Magnus is still a very, very strong player. He's world number one. And I would think that he's still the slight favorite, because unless, you did show it with the results or games, right now he's still world number one. So he would be considered a favorite, but it's not going to be like, a huge favorite at all. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And Gukesh also, he has a lot of respect for Magnus, but when it comes to board, he wants to win and he wants to, go for the glory. So, and Magnus too. So it will be a match of a lot of things at stake at that point.
Absolutely. And one last question. We have seen, obviously, a lot of young grandmasters come up in India. What exactly do you think has been the reasons behind that? And more importantly, what is it that you think can be done to sustain this, so that you're not looking out for the next Gukesh or the next Vidit or the next Prag, and there's not a long wait, let's say?
I feel there are a lot of things that are going right when it comes to Indian chess. Let's say there are role models, there have been achievements, there has been good journalism covering the events. So that has been there. One thing which I feel is missing in the ecosystem, I feel, as more tournaments should be held in India, top level tournaments, so that when people there they have so much enthusiasm, they can come and actually see it live, and that will also give a platform to the players who are in India, because there's so much potential that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine if we explore the full potential, India can be already it's a dominant power, but it can be leading the world at a huge margin, and that's a great thing, and it's a pride. We can boast about it, we can feel good about it, that we are so good at this sport that we are number one. So I feel this is one thing which is missing, more tournaments, and I think it's an opportunity worth exploring.
Absolutely. Vidit, thank you so much for joining us for this interview, and to all our loyal subscribers as well. If you enjoyed this video, do let us know that in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to stay tuned to Republic Sport Fit for more such interesting sporting updates. Vidit, thank you once again.
Thank you so much.